MambaFX, decidedly one of the biggest names in the industry. He's definitely a great YouTuber because that's what he does, YouTube videos. But is he an actual trader? Is he legit? Let's find out.
In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how I was able to turn $11 into $1,100.
Anthony, or MambaFX, started trading forex at a very young age. He was struggling with money when he stumbled upon a scam forex company. Even though the company was not legit, it opened his eyes to the incredible reality of trading. After 3 years of hard work, he became the successful trader we all know today. So I took his course, and in this video, I will share my thoughts and some trading nuggets I found along the way. At first glance, the course seems well structured. It's on the WAP platform like most courses nowadays are. It's divided into 16 sections, and some of the titles are very appealing. I was very eager to get to the flipping small accounts and mastering GJ sections. Without further delay, let's dive in. The course begins strongly with a gold nugget right from the start. Mamba starts by saying that there are 3 main trading sessions. The Asian session, in which you might want to trade CAD JPY, but he doesn't trade CAD JPY, and he doesn't trade the Asian session at all, in fact. During the London session, he trades GBP JPY, and during the New York session, he trades Nasdaq. It's very important to trade the right asset during the right session. Mamba doesn't even look at Nasdaq unless it's the opening of the New York session. The reason for that is volume. If you want to trade Nasdaq during the Asian session, the market is not going to move enough and won't be as predictable. It's very important to trade the right asset during the right session. He repeats this many times during the course, so this is definitely a key element to his trading. Before we move on to the rest of the course, do me a kind favor and hit the like button. Mamba spends only a brief moment explaining the basics of forex, like candle bodies and wicks, which is understandable. I mean, you can find this basic info online for free. I like how Mamba draws his support and resistance zone, focusing on the candle body closure and not the wick. Sometimes the wick of the candle is very long, but if the body will close above the support remains valid. Now for Mamba's actual trading strategy. Like in most courses I've previously reviewed, Mamba starts by finding the trend. For that, he identifies directly on the chart the higher highs and higher lows for a bull trend and the lower lows and lower highs for a bear trend. He reminds us that the trend lines are not always perfect. They could in fact be zones like the support and resistance zone. He draws them using a thin line to keep the chart clean, and they remain valid as long as the trend remains valid. This brings us to the bullish and bearish wedges. These wedges are created using 2 trend lines above and below the current market trend. Mamba will enter a trade if the price breaks above the wedge in the event of a bullish wedge and vice versa for a bearish wedge. This appears to be his favorite pattern. He looks for wedges on GBP JPY during the London session and on Nasdaq during the New York session. Mamba is very straightforward and goes right to the point when explaining his strategy. The subsequent parts of his course are a clear guide on how he trades. Let's start with GJ. This strategy is what he calls the golden breakout strategy. First things first, Mamba pays attention to the session. As mentioned earlier, he only trades GJ during the London session and Nasdaq during the New York session. The next thing is finding overall market structure, digging down to the 5-minute chart. He says he doesn't care about the other time frames. His goal is to be in and out of the market under a couple of hours during a specific trading session. He doesn't have to look or understand the bigger picture from the bigger time frames. He's a scalper, and that's it. All he wants to know is if we're in a downtrend or an uptrend. Once he identifies the trend, he tries to draw his wedges on the current trend. If he can find a good looking wedge, next step is to look for volume. You cannot trade breakouts if you don't have enough volume. Check the volume indicator. The volume must be above the average of the day. He wants his trade to play out fast, and for that, he needs good volume. Now that he has taken a breakout trade, he has a very interesting way of managing the profits. Mamba usually places 5 TP levels, evenly spaced by 10 pips. I really like how he moves the stop loss only halfway to the entry once the trade hits TP1 and not all the way to break even just yet. This way the trade still has a little bit of breather. It's only when the price reaches TP2 or a 2-to-1 risk ratio that he will move his stop loss to break even. While this is very simple, I personally like to place my take profit on levels of interest or near trouble areas rather than spacing them evenly only based on pips. And now for the part we've been waiting for, flipping small accounts. First of all, Mamba says that a 500-to-1 high leverage account is needed. Well, luckily, most brokers offer that kind of leverage. Even the fully regulated ones like IC markets do. Mamba explains to start with a risk of 30 to 40% per trade. That means risking 30 to 40 bucks per trade on a $100 account. When the account reaches $500, he lowers the risk to 10% per trade, so still keeping the same nominal $40, $50 risk. This means with a risk reward of 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, you could be making $100, $150 per winning trade. Once he reaches $1,000, he will lower the risk to 7 or 8%. It sounded a bit like he was just throwing numbers left and right. Anyway, now for withdrawal, he explains that you should take your initial deposit back once you reach the $500 mark. After that, you should make it your goal to withdraw a small amount of money at the end of every trading week. That way, your trading will feel like a paying job. And that's it for the flipping small accounts section. Honestly, I was expecting at least a mini nugget here, but let's continue. The video on how to deposit money is obviously an ad for what appears to be his own white-labeled broker. I did a little bit of digging and found out that the broker he recommends is not regulated and offers a deposit bonus. Those are 2 red flags for me. I will not name his broker, but I will tell you this. Trading forex is already risky in itself, so I would suggest not adding the risk of using an unregulated broker to the equation. Find a reputable broker that is properly regulated, even if it's more expensive. The properly regulated brokers generally offer better trading conditions than the unregulated, shady ones. So I don't really see the point of going with unregulated. Personally, I trade with IC Markets. They are one of the most renowned and reputable brokers out there, although there are probably plenty of others too. Now, the deposit bonus sounds like a treat, but it often comes with a caveat. Say you deposit $100. The broker might give you an extra $50, which is pretty attractive. However, the way it usually works is they will have included a clause that prevents you from easily withdrawing not only their contribution, but now even your own money, because it's all been mixed up together. Usually, you'll need to trade an unreasonable number of lots in order to unlock the money bit by bit. If a broker offers a deposit bonus, it doesn't mean they are a bad broker. There might just be more to it than you think. Another part I was looking forward to was the trade entries section. However, it was a 7-minute video where Mamba fine-tuned his trading bot, the Clarity algo, until the buy signal appeared where he wanted it on the chart. Then he showed some perfect examples of trailing stop losses and how you can change a 4 to 1 trade into a 10 or 20 to 1 trade if you practice trailing your stop losses while keeping an open take profit. He explains that this only rarely works perfectly, but is worth practicing because hitting a couple of 20 to 1 trades will make you a 6-figure trader faster than you think. His strategy seems straightforward and it doesn't feel like he's hiding any details from us. If I were to put a name on his strategy, I'd say he's a breakout scalper who respects trading sessions. The course is currently free on Whoop, so you can see for yourself. And if you're curious about my own scalping strategy, click the link in the description. Don't forget to subscribe and tell me which course you'd like to see next.